All right, China's 3,000-member ceremonial parliament has met to open its annual session, coming at a time where there is world scrutiny over the country's refusal to condemn the ongoing atrocities being committed by Russia in its war against Ukraine. Yahoo Finance's Karina Mitchell has more on the story. Katrina.
Hey, Sazi, thanks a lot. Yeah, so for a second year, the National People's Congress is meeting for 1 week instead of 2, and that's due to a surge in COVID cases in parts of the country. Now, there's little legislation that actually gets done during the session. That's left to the ruling party. However, the delegates do come together to discuss domestic policy, and obviously top of the agenda right now is how to stop slowing growth. And that, as the world's second largest economy, is dealing with an economic slowdown that impacts the U.S. as well as the rest of the world. And that's been exacerbated by a slump in construction and property, highlighted by the Evergrande debacle. It's also dealing with obviously intense international scrutiny to condemn Russia for its assault on Ukraine. Discussion on that topic, as you can well imagine, was pretty muted during the weekend session. What was discussed was broad goals for the economy, military spending, and a push for environmental and climate advances, something that China's really been criticized by the West for, right, for not doing enough in that area. Top of the agenda, however, the economy. China cut its growth target to 5.5%. That's down from last year's 8.1% expansion, according to Premier Li Keqiang in his report to the annual meetings. You should also note that the IMF was predicting 4.8% growth. So the 5.5% clearly a better outlook, but it is still the lowest level in decades as China struggles to reverse a slump that's been exacerbated now by Russia serving up a war that's caused oil prices to surge to multi-year highs and roiling the global commodity space as well. Still, important to note that while it did acknowledge the surging commodity prices, it failed to mention the reason, which is an attack by its good friend Moscow. So Li indirectly acknowledged the impact of the war had on oil and wheat prices, saying they remain, quote, high and prone to fluctuation, but failed to blame the Kremlin. In fact, he was very careful on Ukraine comments this weekend, saying, quote, China will continue to pursue an independent foreign policy of peace, stay on the path of foreign development, work for a new type of international relation. Now, China has also been trying to recover from its crackdown on a real estate bubble and huge debt in real estate industry that caused growth to fall 4% year over year. Also really important to note that U.S. production has been roiled by China's zero COVID strategy that's been suspended local cities and production of key necessities, including, as you know, power and semiconductor chips. Guys, obviously numerous U.S. companies have been impacted by that. Still, no evidence Beijing plans to rethink its COVID strategy. The bottom line is the ruling party is trying to steer the world's second largest economy towards slower, self-sustaining growth based on consumer spending rather than trade and investment. And Li said we must make economic stability our top priority. Quickly on military goals, it's seeking to grow that budget by 7.1% this year to roughly $230 billion, according to the budget report this weekend. Guys, it's all part of Beijing's master Made in China 2025 plan that was launched in 2015. And to help secure Xi Jinping several more years in power, Chinese lawmakers obviously abolished term limits on the presidency back in 2018. And that clears the way for Xi, who's only 68, to hold on to all his major posts indefinitely. Also key to know is that China needs to and is calling on heavy government spending and lending to overcome global uncertainty and to project economic confidence. That is something that it has been struggling to get a handle on and obviously moving in a different direction than our Federal Reserve, guys.
All right, Yahoo Finance's Karina Mitchell. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.